Welcome to Stuck, episode 25. I bet you're wondering why I'm dressed like a superhero today. And the answer is, I always dress like a superhero. No, I'm just kidding. I don't always dress like a superhero. But I am telling you a story today about a superhero, and so I thought it would be fun to wear a costume. This story, I actually wrote this story about 15 years ago, and it has been published in one book, but to my knowledge, it has never been told to an audience. And so you are some of the very first people to ever hear this story. In fact, I had forgotten about it until I stumbled across this book in my office recently. And so I want to share it with you. The name of our story today is The Day Super Jimmy Saved the World.
Able to fly over buildings, able to run really, really fast, able to use X-ray vision to see through walls. It's Super Jimmy!
Jimmy was so excited. Jimmy was like many little boys. He loved playing video games and he loved comic books. But the thing he loved more than anything else was superheroes. Anytime anybody asked Jimmy what he wanted to be when he grew up, he would say very enthusiastically,
Super Jimmy, the best superhero ever!
Jimmy didn't care much about anything except saving the world. One day, Jimmy decided to practice his superpowers.
Hey, Johnny, come here!
Johnny was Jimmy's older brother. What?
Johnny, let's race. I bet I can beat you with my super speed.
Fine, I'll race you, but you know you don't have superpowers.
Yes, I do!
They lined up in the front yard, and Jimmy shouted,
Ready? Go!
Jimmy was fast, but he didn't have super speed. Johnny beat him by about 3 seconds.
Oh, man, I thought I could beat you. That's okay. I don't need super speed to save the world.
Jimmy realized that if he didn't have super speed, he must have X-ray vision. He sat on a chair in the kitchen and tried to look inside the fridge. He stared and stared and stared. Nothing.
Oh, man, I thought I could see through the door. That's okay. I don't need X-ray vision to save the world. Well, if I don't have super speed and I don't have X-ray vision, I must be able to fly!
Jimmy climbed up on a kitchen chair.
Okay, here I go!
Thump! Jimmy hit the floor, and it hurt so bad that he immediately started to cry.
I really hoped I could fly. That's okay. I don't need to fly to save the world.
When Jimmy stopped crying, he decided to go for a walk to try to figure out what he could do to save the world. Jimmy walked down the street about 3 blocks. On the corner of Oak and 15th Street, Jimmy saw his best friend Charlie's house. Jimmy noticed that there was smoke coming out of the windows on the 2nd floor. That was Charlie's room.
Oh no! Charlie's house is on fire!
Jimmy ran to the house and began knocking on the door and shouting as loud as he could,
Charlie, are you home? Your house is on fire!
Charlie's mom came outside to see what Jimmy was screaming about. Charlie told her about the smoke. Jimmy told her about the smoke. She said Charlie was still in the house. But then she fainted from all the excitement. Jimmy ran into the house. He had to help Charlie. The fire wasn't that bad yet, but it was starting to get really bad. He saw Charlie sitting in the living room playing Mario Kart. Jimmy began to yell at Charlie.
Charlie, your house is on fire. You have to get out of here.
Charlie thought it was a joke, and he just said,
Oh, hi, Jimmy.
Charlie, I'm serious.
Oh, sure, whatever, Jimmy.
Charlie, you have to get out of here.
That time, Charlie knew he was serious. They ran out of the house and then went to the neighbors and called the fire department. About a week later, there was a knock at Jimmy's door. Standing at the door was a firefighter, the town mayor, and a bunch of people with microphones and cameras. The mayor handed Jimmy a piece of paper that read, "Brave Hero Award, awarded to Super Jimmy for bravery in time of danger." The firefighter told Jimmy that if he hadn't been there, Charlie might not have gotten out of the house safely. Jimmy decided that instead of being a superhero when he grew up, he would be a firefighter. And he did. And though he never saved the world, he saved many lives. Jimmy realized he didn't need any superpowers to save the world. The story serves as a reminder to us that we don't need superpowers to save the world. In fact, God has actually given you abilities and talents and special gifts, things that you're good at. And it's different for all of us, and that's what's so fun about God's creation is you're good at things that I'm not good at, and I'm good at things that you might not be good at. And your brother is better than you at some things, but you're better than him at some things, and on and on and on. But God gives each of us those abilities and asks us to use them to help others. And in doing small acts of kindness and small little acts of good, we actually are making the world a much, much better place. And so I want to just encourage you as we go into the weekend here to look for opportunities to save the world, one little thing at a time. And also want to encourage you as we're in the middle of a very crazy situation with this pandemic that's going on around us, to look for heroes. Look for heroes. None of them have superpowers, but there are people all around doing a lot of good. There are school teachers spending extra hours preparing lessons for you to learn. Your parents are working extra hard to make sure that you're comfortable at home. There are nurses and doctors and assistants and janitors in our hospitals that are making sure that those that are sick are getting treatment and those that aren't sick are staying healthy. There's grocery store workers, and the list goes on, and daycare providers, and even fast food restaurant workers. The list goes on and on of people who are doing a lot of good to help the world be a better place right now for you and for me. And so if you know somebody in one of those fields, make sure you say thank you when you get an opportunity. And remember that you too, just like Jimmy, can save the world. And before we close, I do want to say this, a little disclaimer at the end here. If you ever happen to stumble upon a burning building, do not enter it. Jimmy, this is a story. It's not true, and it's just a story to teach a lesson. But you need to leave. You need to call 911. You need to find a grown-up. But never, ever, even if it's your own house, even if your favorite stuffed animal is inside, or your dog, you stay outside and let the professional firefighters, because I don't want you guys thinking you have to run into a burning building. In fact, please don't, for your own safety. So anyway, guys, do some good this weekend. You're stuck at home. You might as well make the most of it.
Get me out of here!